Welcome to the Haunted Road Trip Show, where we bring you powerful conversations, insights, and exciting site investigations that reveal the paranormal world in a way you've never seen before. Now, prepare to have your thirst for curiosity.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Haunted Road Trips Show podcast. I am your lovely host, Tracy St. Croix, and this is episode, I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea. But what I do know is that I have with me today somebody that I am absolutely thrilled to introduce y'all to, and I can't wait for you guys to get to know her a little bit better. This is medium Carrie Wilson, and she lives in the great state of Alabama. And who doesn't like just saying that word, Alabama, right? She is an Alabama-born psychic medium and cardiomancer. She says, try not to let the word cardiomancer scare you. It's really just an easier way of saying she reads cards by using several modalities, which we'll talk about. She began her journey in 2013 with a chance encounter with a spirit, which I hope we get to hear about that story. Although she doesn't remember feeling different or tuned in, all of her life, her abilities did not come to fruition until the death of her two siblings. Okay, we've got some interesting stuff here. Growing up in Alabama, Carrie experienced a lot of fear-based teaching. As early as she can remember, she was told psychics and mediums were the devil's work. Little did she know that one day she'd be blessed with the gift of spirit communication and psychic abilities. And here she is with us, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Carrie!
Hey, thanks for having me.
I know, I wish I had one of those, like, clapping machines.
Clappers? Just reach over and press a button?
Yes, and you guys, I met her on TikTok. So, if you guys aren't on TikTok, get on TikTok. Because up, we're losing her. That's all right. Sometimes we get a little Wi-Fi ickiness here, but that's okay, folks. Just hang in with us while we hang in. Carrie, tell us about how it was growing up, hearing that same message.
Well, I mean, at the time, to be honest with you, I guess I kind of took it on as truth in a roundabout way. Meaning, we have a town psychic here, so we would drive by or whatever, and my dad would make his comments or whatever, and it was just like, oh, okay, noted kind of thing. But I was always curious, 6, 7 years old, playing with the Ouija board, and doing all the things I wasn't supposed to, because that's kind of what I do. But yeah, you just kind of, it's almost like that passing thought that you keep in the back of your mind while you're also finding yourself and exploring and doing, so-called wrong, But yeah, that's pretty much how it went,
I can relate to a lot of that, like hearing, really misinformed messages about metaphysics, but yet being so pulled and so curious about things.
Yeah, and it was really kind of challenging growing up, because you're actively being told this is evil and all that, while also experiencing, like, I could look at things and sort of like see spirit faces, and I would have really strange dreams or see things, and that has led to, like, this point in my life being like, well, shit, was I seeing, like, dead people this whole time and thinking they were real, kind of thing, so you really sort of, to me, it's fascinating how later in life you look back on all these things that you were experiencing, and you really don't know. You just know that it was happening, and in the moment, you didn't realize you were having any kind of psychic experience or anything. I remember my earliest sort of psychic experience was I was like 4 years old. And back in the day, there wasn't a there wasn't a big deal about leaving your kid in the car or whatever. And my mom had left me in the car and took the keys with her to run in and buy a pack of cigarettes and run out. Little town store or whatever. And I remember she got in the car and I told her, I said, Mama, when you turn on the radio, don't worry, be happy it's going to be on. And she just looked at me and kind of like laughed it off. And sure as shit, when she cranked the car and turned the radio on, don't worry, be happy was on. And I remember the look of like, what the fuck just happened right now on her face. And I'm just like, I told you, because I was 4 or 5 years old. And it was just like, this is the truth, the way, and the light. I knew I was going to be right. So it was just fascinating little stuff like that.
Wow, I have a similar story too. I remember my father, he was a detective, and he was stumbling around trying to tell us that our great grandmother had passed. And I was like 4 years old, and I was sitting there. I was like, I know she went to heaven. She just came and told me, now can we go to McDonald's, please?
Oh, gosh. His dad was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Both of our parents were, just befuddled at like, wait a minute, what, how is that going on here?
Yeah.
And so you just kind of just took note of these things as you grew up, huh?
Yeah. The ones that the ones that I can remember, because I had a very up and down sort of household. My dad was an alcoholic and an abuser, and my mom, she tried to do the best of her ability.
Hold on, you cut out. Now your volume is kind of wonky. Can you check your volume, Carrie? Okay, can you give me a test 1, 2, 3? You can't hear me? There we go.
I was about to say, what in the world happened?
Okay, yes. Something, I think it's with your Wi-Fi that it keeps dropping and then picking back up.
Oh, okay.
It could be. But you were saying how your father was an alcoholic and your mother did the best that she could.
Yeah, he was an alcoholic and very abusive, and mom done the best she could, but eventually she turned to substances too. So that made it was me and two other siblings. I'm the middle kid, so I very much turned to being mom, and and in
Yeah, I
all
know how
that.
that middle kid role goes.
Oh yes. So in all that, you kind of some experiences I think I've blocked out, if that makes sense. And then other things I can remember just as clear as day.
Yeah, that is really, really funny because when I mean, not just like intuitives and mediums, but a lot of people who had like chaotic childhoods,
Mm-hmm.
I can only remember bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm always amazed at people who can be like, I was 4.5 years old. I was wearing this outfit and this, and I'm like, all these amazing details. And I'm like, yeah, no, I got nothing.
Yeah. I can, and
I can tell you how I felt, but I cannot tell you what was on the stove cooking.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I guess it's just part of that whole childhood amnesia that happens.
It really did, and it's mostly survival skills for us, because most of the time people who get into some kind of paranormal, whether it's psychic or medium or investigating or things like that, are oftentimes, if they're worth their salt as a psychic medium, I will say that if they're worth their weight in salt, they learned in childhood how to develop a lot of their psychic abilities. They learned how, how to judge the mood by how somebody was opening the garage door, or the footsteps, or the turn of a doorknob, or a breathing, or an eating. Like, we learned how to be hyper aware of the people in our environment very, very quickly. And that, unfortunately, turning over our power and helping to regulate other people's emotions at the detriment of our wants, needs, and desires.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the time. So tell me about this. Tell me how did it feel when you first picked up that tarot deck?
It was confusing. That's just the honest answer of it. At the time, my mom was going on a trip to Boston, and I told her that was the only thing I wanted. And I'm still very, very in my Southern Baptist, way of thinking, and so I have no clue what made me, hey, I want a tarot deck. But it was kind of like a dog with a bone. It was confusing and everything, but once I started on it, it was like there's sort of no stopping. I wanted to know everything.
You wanted to know everything about that tarot, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to sit in the morning with my coffee and my notebook, and I would write the majors out in order, and just all kinds of things like that.
That's interesting on there. So did you get training before you started to read for the public, or did you just kind of like, I'm just going to stuff?
I had extensive training. I studied with, it first started out with this little Scottish lady named Mary, who took me under her wing in it was a Facebook group. At the time, it was run by Lillian Suarez and Nellie Duran and a couple other, Kim Griffin, a couple other mediums. And I joined the group, and she's like, hey, I want you to stay on. I think you're gifted. And I'm like, oh, okay, And so I started training with her, and then she sent me to the SNUI, Spiritual Nationalist Union International, which I always get that confused, whatever. And then I studied with Margaret Challenger and Helen DeVita. And,
I love Helen.
She is such a sweet lady. And then I've done speaking and demonstrating 1 and 2 with Arthur Finley College, and so just
did you go to Arthur Finley? You went to Arthur Finley too?
I didn't go, but I done the online courses and all that. So yeah, we would do our own circles through Facebook with Mary and Kim and Nellie and all that, and every single day we would have a 2-hour circle, and I was in. I would do a circle every single day and participate and train in development circle every single day for a year that I remember, except for 2 weeks because I had the flu and bronchitis. But other than that, I was in it every single day. So, but yeah, I had extensive training.
Yes, I'm a big proponent. I did not realize that you and I both come from the same training of the SNUI.
Oh yeah, I don't remember if I had saw a video or something of yours about it, but basically I had no. And Kim, though, I always say that she's like my lifelong mentor, because even if I have a hiccup now, I go back to her. But Kim Griffin was, and I know you're familiar with her, Janet No Havoc.
That's my student. Girl.
She was her student at the Journey Within. So
yeah. I mean, for those of you out here who are kind of like, huh, what are they talking about? What are all these initials? SNUI stands for Spiritualist National Union International. SNUI. So me and Carrie studied and developed our mediumship and our intuitive abilities through the Spiritualist Church, which, do your history on this, folks. I mean, Spiritualist Church has been around for quite some time, and they're the ones who It is actually a religion. And a part of their religious belief is the continuation of life after physical death, and that we can communicate and commune with our loved ones that are in spirit, as well as tune into the intuitive information, however you want to put that. And they are darn good at it. They are
Absolutely.
darn good. So anytime I hear anybody who's really taken their time with the SNUI, my hat is off to them. And especially with Janet No Havoc, I studied with her, and she recently passed, but there's a lot of good material if you guys want to investigate her work out there. Her church still remains. Go out there and seek it, guys, because there's nothing like being proud to be a highly developed. Whoa. Yes, there's nothing like being with a highly developed psychic medium who is really profound at their craft. And I'll tell you this just from personal experience. Once you go to a really trained, well-developed psychic medium, you will not want to go to anybody else again.
No, I completely agree. Completely agree. Because you learn all kinds of different things that aren't, there's beauty in being a natural medium and having that natural evidential ability. But learning tact and just all of it that comes along with actually training and studying and practicing is really, really beneficial for sure.
Is extremely beneficial, you guys, and it's ultimately really, really helpful. So for those of you, even if you never get a reading with me or with Carrie, if you're looking for an intuitive medium, please know that you can always ask them. How did you develop? Where did you get your training from? Who did you take classes from?
Yeah.
You have every right to know that. Just like you want to know where your doctor went to school, you can know where your intuitive got their training from.
Exactly.
And make your own judgments from there on that. So I get the suspicion you fell in love with tarot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then your siblings passed on? Is that correct?
They were already passed.
Okay.
My little brother passed away in 2006 in a car accident. Like 12 months to the day, my sister had a car wreck and it paralyzed my niece. And then 22 months to the day of my brother passing, my sister passed away in her sleep. So.
Oh goodness!
Yeah. Just wham bam, everything kind of all at once.
The same sister who got in the car accident passed away. Oh my God!
Yeah. So yeah, it was a lot all at once.
So do you feel that was a catalyst for you to study your abilities or open up more?
Oh, absolutely, because what happened was even growing up, I was always fascinated with mediums. Like me and my sister used to watch Sylvia Brown on Montel Williams, all these shows, right? And she would always tell me when she died that she would make sure she could get to me, kind of thing. And it's like, okay. And so when she passed away, even in my very still Southern Baptist thinking, and even messing with tarot already. I decided, well, I'm going to find me a medium and get me a reading. And if it's a sin, God's going to forgive me anyway. And I found a medium and got a reading. And there was shit that there's no way that she could know. And then that's when Mary stepped in and was like, hey, I want you to stay in this group. And I want you to look at these pictures and write down whatever it is you see. And from there, Tracy, it's the weirdest thing, but from there, I started seeing, which we know it's not weird now, but in the moment, I would see like neon signs flying at me, like alcoholic or two kids or just it was the strangest thing, and I would just type out what I was getting, and it would turn out to be right, And so then from there, I remember I was watching Long Island Medium, and of course, I was overwhelmed and crying, and I was just like, man, I wish I could do that to help people. And it wasn't long after that, we was off for the races. Mary took me under her wing, and just all she introduced me to SNUI, and then I was sort of just off to the races, and it became something that I needed just as sure as I was breathing. I had to know all the whys and hows, and the mechanics of mediumship, so that way I didn't feel crazy as shit, so it was really cool.
Yeah, because before you get a really good development class and things like that, you can feel like you're absolutely going bonkers in your mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. That was my experience. Like, I really thought, I was like, wow, you scrambled your head, girl.
Yeah.
Like, I kept having flashbacks of those. Remember, okay, I'm dating myself, but like back in the 80s and the 90s, they used to have these PSA commercials where it was like, this is your brain. And then they would
crack on drugs.
And they would put a fried egg in there, and this is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh God.
I'm losing it. I'm absolutely losing it.
I'm losing it. My brain's a fried egg.
Yeah.
But it was really, more of those blessings in disguises that we didn't even really know about. I can relate to once, it was pointed out to me, like, no, you're a medium and you need development. Like, I was off to the races. Like,
yeah.
I wanted to read everything. I wanted to listen to everything. I wanted, I wanted to help people out so bad with my abilities, but I knew that I didn't want to step in doo-doo.
Right. Yeah.
Before I was trained enough to do it as well on there.
Because microwave mediumship does not work out. It does not work out well at all. No, I mean, I get it though, because when we first started doing circles, it was all through like Facebook chat kind of thing. So I actually learned, to type readings up, and then SNUI, it was through the microphone. But then we started doing circles over Skype and classes over Skype, and I would be the only person in the class, like, you never seen my head, because I was just constantly writing, all the information that that was being given, that Kim was talking about. This is how spirit downloads information into your imagination, and just absorbing everything I could. And I would tell them, I'd be like, I know y'all are getting tired of my shit, because I would be like, well, why does it work that way? Well, how is it that, because it was always question, but I was just so passionate about it. So, yeah.
I can relate to that too. I just wanted to really get the best information. And what I really learned, and I teach my students, is you might want, like, sometimes TV mediums set us up for failure.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
What I mean by that is they have these, dramatic, focal points and things like that, and they're sitting with them for an hour, and you're only seeing 5 minutes of the whole darn thing, right? And of course it's TV. If it was boring, nobody would watch it, right?
Exactly.
But I always tell my students, like, you might get a couple of those, like, banger, like 100%. But don't set yourself up that you need to have this, huge dramatic thing every single reading, or every single detail that needs to come through.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're hitting that 90% above, 80-90% above information, and the person is understanding it, go with it.
Yeah. Because you're just setting yourself up kind of for failure. And you get so engrossed in what's happening on the shows too that people aren't just, they're not just you don't just walk up to them and start bringing their loved one through. You have to sign a waiver and everything else to even be on camera. So
that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, I talk to a lot of my students about that. I oftentimes ask them one question: who knows what a media release is?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them do, some of them don't. Some people do. And then I talk to them. I'm like, look, these shows you're not putting up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for a production to walk in somewhere for somebody to go, yeah, no, I'm not signing that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Companies are not built to waste money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I tell people, they might not know exactly who they're going to read, but people are aware that they could be read in there.
Yeah, yeah. Then everybody signs something, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to sign something because they ain't leaving. Those producers are not letting you. No, they're not wasting time or money on any of that, folks, on there. And I can tell you that from filming my own season 1 of Onsite investigations of the Haunted Road Trip show. Like I won't even show up anywhere until I have those forms in my email before I even think about driving anywhere.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. On that. So have you ever done on-site paranormal investigations?
No, I have. I've been asked. The closest thing that I've ever done is like here recently. I went to St. Augustine with a friend, and she was like, "See what you can get."
Lighthouse?
Yeah, and I didn't know shit about the lighthouse other than it was a lighthouse, and I walked up on the thing to go in the gift shop, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I know there's a woman there, and she's sad, and my friend was just like, oh, I've got chills all over me, and then that ended up with me bringing more information through when we got in, kind of like so we stepped to the side of the area because I didn't want to go in and get, because I knew it was a gift shop that there'd be all kinds of information, so I just sort of started like talking, da da da, and then her researching afterwards, and it was just like, I don't know, it was very unusual. But that's the first time I've ever done anything like that.
Wow, I'm jealous. I've wanted to visit that lighthouse for quite some time.
Well, it was fascinating because as soon as we got into St. Augustine, I could see it, and I was like, I've got to go, because I could feel that pull of energy to it. I was like, I have no clue why I'm supposed to go there, but I'm supposed to go there. And so I think it was like our third day there. We ended up there, and it was just a very beautiful experience. We ended up parked in the parking lot, both of us crying, just overwhelmed with emotion and just feeling honored,
Yeah, so. It is, and I like that you hit on that point because, a lot of us feel very honored that Spirit would pick us to talk to.
Oh yeah.
For Spirit for them to trust us to be a voice for them to their loved ones or to whoever it may be.
Yeah.
To me that's a great honor, and I really, and that goes into ethics and integrity that I teach a lot. Like this is not playtime with people's emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Here. I know. I don't know. It may not seem silly to you, but it may seem silly to the listeners. I don't know, but I know I find myself asking why me a lot, and finally somebody one day just looked at me and said, well, Carrie, why not you? And it's like, oh, well, I mean, now that you put it that way, I guess, but it is very, when mediumship found me, or I found mediumship, or however you want to put it, when my siblings passed away, I felt very much forgotten about, like I had been let down, like like the God I believed in had forgotten about me. And so when mediumship come around, it was very much this feeling of like, oh, I've been remembered, kind of thing. And so that's my purpose in what I do and what I try to walk with. Number one, I try to walk in love, but I also try to look at things as I don't want spirits loved ones to ever feel for a moment that they are alone the way I felt alone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that, and that's powerful stuff. I hammer it in on my students that, like, we truly don't know how a session with us can affect somebody's life.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know that they, could be on the brink of making some really bad decisions, and because they came to a good qualified medium and got some kind of something, whatever that they were needing, that they chose to take a different path.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because if you have, in Janet No Havoc's book, I forget the title of it. I think it's called like Between Two Worlds, or
Where Two Worlds Meet.
Yeah, Where Two Worlds Meet. She talks about a woman who came for a reading, and at the very end of the reading, Janet said, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the whole story away, but it was like, there's also some children here I want to talk to you about. And she brought through the woman's children who had, if I remember correctly, they had died in a car accident or died very tragically. And the message was just very moving to this lady, to the point where the lady told Janet at the end, like, had I not heard from my children or heard about them, this message, that I'd planned to go and do some self-harm.
Yeah. 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 And that's a lot of responsibility to have. And to me, it also goes back around to, that's why it is so important to have some kind of foundation training development in psychic mediumship. Because mediumship, yes, it's very important. It's, to me, it's my bread and butter. But psychic reading, psychic stuff is just as equally important, because a lot of people may not realize how much power we actually have as a psychic. I mean, you have people coming to you asking you, where do I go from now in life? And, I don't know, fucking tell them to be a horse racer, when that's not anything, that ain't anything in their cards, kind of thing, and you've screwed their whole life up because they decided to listen to you, so it's
what would you say, Carrie? What would you say are some red flags? Like, if somebody's looking for an intuitive or a medium to work with, what are some big red flags about training or phrases they might say?
Oh, Lord. Oh, I don't even know if this is going to answer your question properly. But number one, if they ask you a bunch of questions right off. Now, in saying that, there are clarifier questions. I'm not a mind reader. I've been looking for my crystal ball for 39 damn years now. It still ain't showed up. Right? So there's certain questions that, yes, we may ask or whatever. But if someone is kind of like leading you in a way to give them information, feeding the medium, as we call it, those are red flags. If you, and I know that there are different belief systems, and it is no disrespect to any of the belief systems out there, but if right off the bat you are hit with, oh, you have an attachment and I need, 2 teeth and 3 hairs and $1,000 and a chicken foot, red flag. Red fucking flag.
And don't forget, I need you to come back in 2 weeks so I can remove it again.
Right. Or I lost the ingredients, or it didn't take, or so those are little red flags. If
family discount if you bring more people.
Right, yeah. For me personally, because I get readings too, a red flag is if there's not a bio from them. Listen to your energy. You have that innate intuition that we're born with. Go with who you're pulled to. But also just be very be very mindful and aware of people's development. If someone has only been developing for a year, I don't give a shit if they're the Beethoven of mediumship. A year is not enough time to develop your skills, your tact, your all these different experiences that you need to have to grow in order to be a wonderful medium. So,
Yeah.
how many years have you been doing this? 2 years and 3 weeks. Well, maybe, I'm not going to pay you $200 for 30 minutes,
Yeah,
kind of
no
thing.
freaking way, dude.
Yeah. So,
those are some huge red flags, guys. And
yeah.
one to add on to it, if somebody tells you that they're solely self-taught,
yeah.
run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, and this depends on the family that they were raised in, but for the most part, if they say something around, well, it's in my lineage, run.
Oh, why are you saying that? Because I tell clients this: if you go to someone and they tell you with 100% certainty that they are 100% accurate, or that they can 100% bring through who the fuck you wanting to talk to, run. They're just trying to take your money. That is not the way this shit works. It will never work that way. That is not it. No, they're just trying to take your money. See, I get heated when it when it comes to shit like this, and I can't help it. But it's just, and I know you probably experienced this too. We do sort of like so much undamage. I guess that's what it's called. People do damage, and then you have to fix it, and it's not that it gets old. It's my purpose, but it's like, if you would have done the shit the right way to begin with, maybe we would not be here, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Alexa, stop.
Alexa's acting up again. Yeah, so guys, I always like to say, be educated. Like, just because and this doesn't just go for psychic mediums, okay? This goes for your bosses, your doctors, everybody. Just because you're on one side of the table and they're on the other does not mean that there's a power dominance there. You still need to be aware and on your toes.
Well, it would be like, I don't know, let's say I'm going to go have half my fucking colon removed for a doctor who's only been doing surgery for 6 months to a year. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that. You're not going to remove my shit when no, baby. No sugar. I'm not playing around with my insides. No.
You ain't putting your hands on me.
No. We're going to find somebody else. That's what we're going to do. Because it ain't going to be today.
Satan ain't gonna get me today. No, sir.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Yeah. So, I mean, there can, you guys follow mediums like Carrie on, specifically on TikTok, guys. Find her and, get more educated, get more familiar with the psychics and the mediums that are, above board and that really are working in integrity. And we love what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I can honestly say, like, I am befuddled and shocked most days that I get to do this. Yeah. Like, I'm like, what? How did I end up here? But okay. Exactly. Not so bad of a gig from, the lot I started with.
Yeah, exactly.
On there. And we're gonna have to get together and do some paranormal investigation of something.
I'm down, absolutely. Yeah.
I think that would be an absolutely fabulous and fun idea to be able to do. Okay, so you want to do something a little bit. Let's switch gears and have a bit of fun, shall we?
All right.
And maybe you can pull some tarot cards when we do this, I'm thinking. Okay. I'm just kind of like feeling. So grab your buddy.
I was about to say my light's going to go off. I got one of them 1860 touch lamps. It's not 1860, but it's one of the old ones. We'll say that.
It is. It's definitely one of the old ones. And I'll get my cards out too. I was wondering why I had them by me, but Spirit told me, before I got on this reading, get your cards nearby you. We're going to need
that. Tracy, get your shit together.
That's right. Get your shit together, little girl. Oh my God. And we are going to play a game, okay? And I am going to do some new things. I'm going to share screen. Okay, so I want to play a game with you called Book It or Book It, girl, okay?
Okay.
So the premises is, are we going to stay here overnight or are we getting the hell out?
I got you.
Okay. All right, and for everybody who is listening, I'm on this Instagram account that I'm absolutely obsessed with called Cheap Old Houses. Yes, we know some of them aren't exactly cheap. It's the branding, go with it, okay? This time we are taking a trip to, I'm going to butcher this, Corrèze, France. The listing says, are you kidding me? Listed for $755,000, a 15th century castle in need of restoration. Its hamlet of outbuildings and its panoramic ground. At first glance, the castle stands out as an emblematic work of its time whose quality has been remarkably preserved. That's a mouthful of a sentence.
Right.
Medieval edifice stands proudly at the center of a largely lawned plateau, below which vast meadows stretch out to a great valley to the east. The panoramic views are beyond. I am not going. Oh wow, that is a super long listing.
That's a lot of shit to read right there.
Yeah, that is a lot of shit to read. Okay, you guys can go on there. It's pretty easy going to be able to find. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look. We're gonna spy through the photos, and we're going to pull some cards about it. Okay, I'm liking this. I don't know. It kind of seems like... I keep
There's
seeing...
definitely some energy pressure there, isn't there?
Yeah, it really feels like, I don't know if this was a gateway up and down to the master bedroom or something, but I keep seeing... women in different time periods.
I swear I was about to say, there's something significant about a woman there for sure.
For sure. And she is still here, y'all, on there. Oh, yes. This is going to be a turn of luck for whoever is able to buy it, because here, whoever bought this, I get the Wheel of Fortune, must have felt lucky. Must have felt very fortunate to be able to get this house. Now that is a ballroom. Something about this here says, if you stick in here long enough, I will talk to you. This is a man cave right here to me.
It reminds me of the part in The Shining where Jack Nicholson goes to the bar every time. That's what that reminds me of.
Ah.
And then you can see the people dancing in the movie and stuff. That's what the very first thing that come to my mind.
Yeah, this must have been a very large meeting place. Oh, look at that on the ceiling. They even have the dragon quests or crests on there. I think it's the ceiling. I could be wrong. I've never seen a lock like that, so I don't know what that is. Somebody maybe who's watching the show can put in the comments. But that looks kind of like you're not going anywhere unless I want you to go somewhere in this house.
I keep shuffling and pulling court cards, so there must be some kind of connection to royalty or something.
Oh, I am.
That's my third queen.
Huh, you know what? And I just pulled Nine of Pentacles, Lady of Luxuries, live there, of course. Yeah. People with money and stature, of course, in a castle. Wow.
That's beautiful.
I don't know what this room was, but it feels like some really huge decisions were made in here at some point. Like it almost feels like a meeting room or some kind of like war room type thing. Where big decisions about countries and wars and land were made.
It's weird because as soon as the picture came, I heard kids laughing. So I wonder if people hear children laughing, or like the replayment or whatever of kids laughing.
This another room with another ball. Look at that tile work.
That's very beautiful.
That is genuine. They got the LaFleur everywhere. Okay, we got some birds. All right,
There
bird
we go.
wallpaper. Hey. What do we have here? Sweet baby Jesus, what are you? This looks like a woman's dressing room or some kind of like private pavilion or something.
Listen, you don't want to know the first thing that come to my mind was like that. I mean, I can't even see it good, but it was like that. That reminds me of like a hanky panky room, or
Yes, that's what I was like, this is like a woman's place where things happened
we'll
and
get
stuff.
down with a get down.
Yeah, it does. It looks like the Bound Chiggy Bound Bound, one of those rooms on there. Let me see. And then we have a photo looking outward. I believe that's from the same room. Wow. So
beautiful.
Carrie,
Yes, ma'am.
are we booking it?
Oh, I'd absolutely book it. I would absolutely book it. I do think there's some stagnant energy in there, but I mean it's old. That's with all old places. But I don't get a feeling of like a foreboding or shit. I don't know how to say it. Like you know how you go to a place, there's like a lot of collective like negative energy there from where bad shit has happened over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that to me. It feels very tranquil in a way. I'd book the hell out of it.
I would, yeah, exactly. I would book the hell out of this on here. There we go. Oh, I can do it like this. I'm pushing buttons and finding new things, everybody.
There you go.
There you go. Because I pulled some cards and I said, what does this house need from us or from anybody who might see this listing? Look, I've got 3 of Cups in protection, which talks about old, they want some good times. They want some good vibes. They want some parties in here, right? Death and Protection says literally it's time to bring it back to life. Let the old go and bring some new in and talk about new, because we end up at the Page of Wands. So somebody comes in there with a big vision, with a big creative vision. And plus that orange room and all this orange energy on him. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm loving it. You want to do another one?
Sure, we can. I know you're recording. I'm throwing it out there though. My phone's about to die. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, God. All right.
I know.
Let's see if we can get one more in here, and then we'll see about this. Let me see and share this tab instead.
Oh.
Can you see that?
I can.
All right, let me see if it'll let me. Oh, it won't let me do that while I'm sharing. It won't let me flip the listing pages. Ah, okay. So,
I don't enjoy that one as much.
This is Louisiana, Missouri.
Yeah, I don't enjoy that one as much.
I was like, I'm going to pick this one. It looks like it could have been a really nasty old frat house at one time. Yeah. It also looks like it could have been office buildings and like apartments at one time as well. But it's whoever wants it, 5,000 square feet. This home was built in 1861. They say this charm still exists, but I have yet to see it. And we're just looking from the outside. So let's go in, Carrie. As much as they'll let us.
It's got dingy energy to me. Ooh.
That's why I think like some kind of, I don't know.
No, I would not book it. Nope.
This stairway just creeps me out. Like, all I keep seeing in my mind is somebody repeatedly falling. And I mean a bad fall.
Yeah. Or their ass was pushed down there. I mean,
I just keep seeing a gentleman. That's why I feel like this has like that frat house type of energy to it. That uncontrolled, chaotic mess here. And it looks like somebody is trying to remodel it.
Yeah.
Oh, God almighty, what in the what? No, no,
No.
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 Oh, girl, you're going to need more fillers and Botox to fix this shit.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, and I feel like there's
I
something
like
about
the garden.
the land, too.
Yeah, I mean, the garden is pretty, but I'm going to say I'm not staying there at all.
Yeah, no.
At all.
No.
No, somebody needs to go in there and really put some intentionality about what they want to do with that place there. I just feel almost like it's just got a lot of chaotic, like either, like I can see like two vortexes in my mind, so it might have, somebody might have created like a chaos vortex in there at one time and they're gone, but it's still there. And
Well,
what is that? I don't know.
I don't know as much as if I'm picking up about the house or if it's the land. I think something bad happened on the land. I feel like it's connected, and I know it's the South and all that good shit, but to me it feels like it's connected to slavery or something like that has happened. I just keep seeing a black man connect. I don't think good stuff happened on the actual land. Sense what I'm saying.
No, I can believe it, because this house, I pulled cards about it, and basically the cards are saying there's a lot of immature people who have been in this low emotional IQ people who weren't paying attention to their intuition and definitely didn't honor this land at all.
Yeah.
I would not stay there because I would fear nightmares. You got what?
I got the Ten of Swords. That would definitely be. That's a no to me.
No, that would be a no. That would be let somebody else clean up that mess, please and thank you, on that time. Well, Carrie, thank you. Hold on after I end the episode, but thank you so much, Carrie, for joining us on here for this episode. I have absolutely loved it, and I'm thrilled. I hope to have you back in multiple different capacities.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Oh, and you guys, Carrie has a little special offer. Find her on TikTok at Medium Carrie Wilson
on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. She's almost to 1,000, and she needs 1,000 people so that she can go live. And so, if you are one of the next 50 people who follow her, she is going to pull a free card for you when she goes live. She's going to figure out how to do that. But go and find her. The link will be in my bio. Our link will be in the show notes bio, as well as everywhere to go and find this amazing medium, Miss Carrie Wilson. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to next time.
Thank you so much. Later, Shugs.